Hey everybody, welcome to another segment of Tony's show. And today we are going to be moving and grooving, stroking and moving and boating and whatever. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. And I started off doing the show and my computer decided to shut down on me all by itself. Anyway, I'm trying to figure a way to keep you all calm and not to get sucked into the fake pandemic. And a lot of people, like when I walk around, out and about in Windsor, there's a lot of people still walking around, and they're still trying to figure out why everybody's gone crazy with toilet paper. And I'm trying to figure ways to keep you in your right frame of mind, so you're not sucked into stupid bullshit. And I mean bullshit. Remember Y2K? Remember Y2K? You remember that? 2001. The end of the world was around the corner. We didn't have the computer date set to go past 1999, and the world was going to come to an end. Oh, I didn't think anything was going to happen except there'd be some kind of reset back to 1901 or whatever. And then I was watching what was going on in Australia, because Australia's about 14 hours ahead of us. So I figured if Australia crashed, then we're in trouble. It's just going to come 14 hours later. But Australia didn't crash, so I knew if Australia didn't crash, we weren't going to either, so I wasn't too concerned. But everybody in that point in time was doing the same thing. They're running around with their heads up their backside. They're buying all the toilet paper. They were going crazy, and people keep forgetting that the media is nothing but a lying mechanism. It's nothing there to sensationalize. And this is the problem, trying to keep you calm and collected, because you're constantly being barraged with the media, and the media is lying through its backside. Why would you believe the media is beyond my comprehension? If you looked at the original coronavirus, the coronavirus is nothing more than a common cold. And if they're telling you to quarantine yourself for 14 days, because that's about how long it takes to get over a common cold. So something else is going on behind the scenes. And when we're seeing people drop like flies in China, that's not a virus. That's an assault. That's an attack. That's a 6G terahertz assault. Keep saying I'll be glad when everybody gets caught up on the 6G part of this. Everyone thinks that everybody's on the same page. If you guys looked at the last show and seen the map of China's, what they are, how far and how deep they are into the planet with the network, there's only two countries in the world that are not under that network that China has, and that's the United States and Australia. Even Canada has it. So I think that's how China cut the deal with Canada. And again, I've never heard anything more about the two hostages in China. You know why? Because now this corona has taken over. It has fixed everything. It has fixed those hostage situation in China, right? It has fixed that because we've got their system running in Canada. It's amazing, just amazing. Just amazes me the bullshit that we see. And the current corona is not a virus. I'm not sure how many times I have to say this. I mean, my email every day, Tony, what are you going to do about the coronavirus? I keep saying nothing. Nothing. Let me put it to you this way, all of you. You can get hit with a viral infection even if you do everything right. You can take the peroxides, you can take the iodines, you can take the chlorides, you can take the copper chlorides, the colloidal copper, the copper sulfate, you can take the zinc chloride, the zinc methionine, the zinc cysteine. You can take cysteine with vitamin C. You can take grapefruit seed extract. You could take the essential oils like balsam fir and pine and a whole host of, and you can still get popped with a virus. We have been hit with flus before, haven't we? And, you know, none of us died. Now, speaking of death, let's speak of death, shall we? I'm one of those guys that likes to talk about death. Because it's two things in this life that are inevitable. You dying and standing before your maker. Those are two inevitable facts that are going to happen to each and every one of us. So knowing this fact, instead of being afraid of a virus, you might want to pay attention to how you're going to address your maker or your creator when you stand before him at the end of the day. Somebody say, well, I don't believe in judgment. Well, you know what? You might be in for one rude awakening. I wouldn't bet the bank on that one. But anyway, c'est la vie, to each his own. When we are down here on this shithole, this earth, this shithole that we're in, this toilet bowl that they have corrupted and violated and made in their image is shit. That's the image that they have created. That we are now turned the earth into a pile of shit. It's unbelievable when I see this. I have an ire in me you have no idea. When you see the media perpetrating the status quo, you should be putting the brake on in your head. You should be saying, holy jumping, what is going on here? And I am not seeing anybody dying around me. Maybe people aren't really dying. Maybe they're embellishing the truth just a little bit. Maybe they're fabricating a fantasy to convince you of something that isn't really happening. Have you actually seen the evidence of these people dying? And who might be really dying? The elderly? They're dying anyway. If they're in their 80s or 90s, they're probably dying of old age or frustration from having to deal with stupidity for 80 years. That's another cause of death that nobody talks about. My point is this. You're not hearing anything that has any validation or substantiation, number one. Number two, there's absolutely no test for this COVID-19 that they're calling it now. Zero test. They're testing you if you got any kind of respiratory disorders like pneumonia, tuberculosis, cystic fibrosis, the common cold. If you fart out of the left side of your backside, they're going to say you got the coronavirus. If you fart out of the right side of your backside, they're going to say you got coronavirus. There's no test. Doesn't that seem a little ambiguous to you? Doesn't that seem a little bit, well, wait a minute here. You have no test, and you say all these people have got this, and all these people have died from this. Well, how the hell would you know if they died from this if you have no way to test it? See what I'm saying? This is called using the space between your ears that God gave you, that brain. God gave you a brain. If you're going to get all anxious and go into a sort of a pandemonium, do that when he comes back. When he comes back, then you might want to get a little bit excited and pandemonic. Oh, geez, Jesus is coming back. You might get a little bit excited then. But this bullshit, are you kidding me? Like I said, it's incredible to me. It's just, like I said, I'm just mind-boggled here with this. Don't allow mob rule to rule you. Don't allow mob rule to rule you, because once this gets into mob rule, the only way you stop mob rule was with brute force. And that might be the game plan that they're intending, to take over everything by brute force. Because they've already got you afraid, they've already got you scared shitless of everything that they're telling you. So if they bring on super soldiers or artificial intelligence or robots to come down the street and wipe out neighborhoods, it's going to put another fear into you. And then they're going to bring their super soldiers or their advanced soldiers to put a stop to the evil, something out of an old comic book. Remember, they have never told you the truth, ever. And the fake news that we're watching today is going on right in front of your noses. NBC, ABC, CBS, CBC, whatever other channel you got, that's your fake news. That's your fake bullshit. That's the deception and the game they are playing with you. I like the way they contorted the fake news nonsense by saying that the internet and other things are all perpetrating fake news. And everybody bought into that too. This is again astounds me. One guy says this and everybody just follows. It's like, are you seriously kidding me? How much abuse do you have to take before you wake up? How much bullshit do you have to swallow before you decide you've had enough? What's it going to take What kind of pain do you have to suffer before you decide to open your eyes? I get the fact that you're afraid. Most of you are. Most of people are afraid. And with good reason. There's reasons to be afraid. But as I said to you before, faith and fear are the same exact thing. No different. The only difference is the side of the coin they're on and what they do. Faith sets you free. Fear entraps you. That's the difference. That's the difference. And if you don't stand your ground today in whatever they're doing, I guarantee you tomorrow they're going to have your ass lined up down the street, and they're going to walk up and down the street, and they're going to chip and implant everybody with this coronavirus antidote, this vaccine. They are running roughshod to get this vaccine out there so fast before the world wakes up and recognizes that they've been had. And by the time this happens, like I said, they want 60% of the population infected. This is what they're saying. 60% of the population in the world will be infected by coronavirus. That's because they've infected people. That's the only way that's going to happen. Think. They don't care about you. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about you. Did you get the part where they don't give a shit about you? The reason why I'm saying it this way is so it strikes a bell in you. Some of you are going to get all mad because I'm using, not profanity, strong salt of the earth language, because that's not profane. It's very salt of the earth language because that's the only language that'll reach you. That's the language I'm very well versed with. I can be eloquent as well, but this seems to be the only language on this frequency that you guys understand. And again, I'm not referring to the people that are awake. Okay, those of you who are awake know what's going on. You know this is bullshit, and you've already taken the precautions not to get sucked into this bullshit. The rest who are just sort of on the fence, you stay on the fence. The fence is crumbling. Got news for you. It's crumbling fast. And pretty soon when your ass hits the ground, you're going to have to make a decision which way you want to go. And I'm going to tell you now, think wisely. I won't tell you what to do, but I'll tell you this much. You've been in the world, you've been in this system, you've been in this matrix, and you see what it has done for you so far. Empty promises. It's giving you a crumb. It's giving you just enough of an incentive to keep you stimulated in this lie and in this deception. Is this how you want to live? Is this how you want to be? Is this how you wish to live out your life in this apprehension, this fear, this manipulation, this deception? To be used like cow dung, to be thrown into the ground as fertilizer as they see fit? Somebody sent me a video this week, actually yesterday, on George Carlin. Now George Carlin is a very crusty, salted earth type guy, and you can see he had some rough goings in his life, but he came up with some truths and some realities. And so I posted on the YouTube this particular video he did on germophobia, and I started watching this thing, and I started laughing, and I was cracking up. Not because what he said, because I came from that regiment shortly thereafter, and what he said is true. You know, they have gotten everybody so worked up about germophobia that you might just die if you get a disease. And our bodies were designed to be able to repel and fight things that you call it. That's your immune system. And when my immune system gets into it and takes it out, it takes it to my colon. Now today, we need to help our immune systems because our immune systems have been compromised with everything under the sun. Glyphosates, genetically engineered foods, chemtrails, frequencies from towers, frequencies from your phone, smart devices, nanotechnology, nanobiology, synthetic biology. So our lives are a little different than when he was talking way back in the day, but the message was still loud and clear. They got everybody so afraid of talking to people. They want you isolated. Notice that you got to be 10 feet apart. You know why they want you 10 feet apart? Because this way, it's not that you're going to spread the virus. It's because this way you're an easier target. We can single you out a lot easier and hit you with a beam. Bing! Oh! You're going to die. This is the voice of God speaking. It's in your head. You're going to die. You can't win. You can't keep up. You're going to lose. This is the voice of God speaking. Bing. That's what they do. That's what they do. VK2, voice to skull technology. Ding. You're going to die. Yes, you can't win. You're going to die. So they're telling you the truth in that regard. You are going to die. One day you are going to die and stand before the Almighty. So I would, in my mind, I'd say, get ready. Get your ass ready, because, it's a one-way trip. When we're dealing with these things and this paranoia that they put on, or the schizophrenic mentality that they've done, take a walk on the wild side. Open up a site that can give you some information to explain to you what this really is. Don't just get caught up in the hysteria of the television and just go ballistic, and then send me 99 emails, in an hour. Oh, what are we going to do? We're going to die. Oh. I write you back sometimes. Yes, we are going to die. What's the problem with that? I'm ready to leave now. Think about this. When have they told us the truth? When? What have they done to even indicate they are even telling you the truth now? Where's the validation? Where's the verification? Where's whatever? Can you actually trust the documentation that they're going to show you? Can you trust the newscasters to come out with that serious, stoic look at tonight's news? Coronavirus has just killed 99 million people more, and the epidemic is still rising. Ding. Seriously, that's the drama. How many of you ever watched the science fiction? Have you ever watched Star Trek or Deep Space Nine or any kind of dramatization of science, sci-fi? And they get you in a scenario where you're caught, and they suck you in really good. And they've been doing this now since the 1960s with television, sucking you into the dramatization to make you actually think that you are a part of that scenario. That you are now in that movie. You are in there. You are so in there. Everything else around you has become completely oblivious. So now you're in the scene where, they play this eerie music. Ooh, and they got all the background, that high-pitched shrilling, and now you're all sitting there, all wound up, anxious, and then they hit you with a punchline. Boom! And you jump back, go, oh! Because they got you so sucked in. Guess what? They did that with 911. They did the same bullshit with 911. There were no airplanes in 911. What they did do, though, is they showed us a dramatization of the buildings coming down and being vaporized into dust. That they did show. And they showed you on the television, they showed you over and over the airplanes hitting that building. And they were driving that home that an airplane hit that building. And what they found along the ground was the things they set up as props that were already on the ground. I mean, seriously, think about this for a minute. You got an airplane that collides into the building, explodes into flames, and they could find the passports of the pilots? I mean, are you kidding me? See what I mean? Like the passport is going to sustain. I mean, if it brought down the building, okay, that was tempered steel that could take up to 3,200 degrees Fahrenheit. If it brought the building down, because as they said it would, because it melted the steel supports, do you think a passport would survive the heat of the airplane? Are you kidding me? But they sucked you in. Meanwhile, what happened? What happened? The United States lost some gold. It left the country. What happened? The police state became more enforced. Americans lost more of their rights. So did the world, really. This is about taking away your rights. Taking away your ability to say, no, I'm in charge of my own body. Okay? But instead, Most people are going to surrender to this situation. When they come up with that magical vaccine, everybody is going to run to this thing, and the stocks on the coronavirus and the pharmaceutical companies are going to make trillions, because of stupidity. As it says biblically, my people perish for lack of knowledge. My people perish for lack of wisdom. 2 Proverbs. It's time to gain knowledge and wisdom and in the areas of life that you need to know. They're basically shutting down everything. So I would seriously, in the next 2 weeks, if your job or whatever is reduced, I would start doing some serious homework. Don't use Google. Don't use the mainstream search engines. They're all full of shit. All of them. Type in the URL what you're looking for. Look for not just the sensationalized horse shit, but look at both sides of the equation. What you're going to find is 90% of the things you're going to see is about the sensationalism of what's going on. And if you read that bullshit and believe that comic, you're going to be sucked in. Then you're going to probably find another 5% that's ambiguous, and it's about selling product because the coronavirus is out there, and here's something that's going to protect you from the coronavirus. Disregard that. Most of that's just bullshit anyway. Then the other 5% is going to tell you what is really going on. Everybody's got a little take an angle on what's going on, but everyone who's seeing this for what it is all agrees that this thing is not a virus. It's all bullshit. It's all being manipulated through nanotechnology and frequencies. This much you will see. And then you better question yourself, why is it that this 5% is saying this? If this was true, completely true, everybody would be on board on this. Everybody. But it ain't true. It's an illusion. It's a propagation. It's a dramatization. It's a web. It's one of those spider webs where it funnels into the center. And what happens is they keep throwing you a crumb. A dollar bill, a coin, some alcohol, some cannabis, some pharmaceutical drug. But as they keep throwing those things out there, they keep you getting closer and closer and closer to the center of the web. And once you get into position, they swoop down and whoosh, you're gone. That's how the game's played. Give you a little bit more, a tease here, a tease there, entertain with this, entertain with that. Away you go. Now, I'm going to show you how to boost your immune system. Not because of the corona bologna. I'm going to give you something so that because we're still being impacted by chemtrails, we're still being impacted by weather modification. You can see that now. I'm here in the Northeast, Midwest area. Sunny days, and it's colder than hell. I shouldn't say colder than hell, cold. Unusually cold. And there's something in the air. They're dumping shit in the air. I've noticed that the chemtrailing has increased dramatically in my area, and I've been getting reports all across the country and across Europe that the same thing is going on there as well. So they might be fumigating us with this so-called corona. The common cold. So I'm going to show you how to use alcohol. I'm actually going to post tonight the things that how alcohol can benefit. Now, before I go on with the alcohol, okay, I personally don't have a problem with alcohol. And I don't have a problem sharing with you what alcohol can do. And when you look at the information I'm giving you tonight on alcohol, you're going to go, wow, it can stop a heart attack, it can regulate the heart rate, it can stop a stroke, it can prevent a stroke, it can prevent diabetes. There's a lot of things that alcohol can do if it's done in moderation. In other words, 1 or 2 shots a day. That's it. If you cannot control alcohol consumption, then this is not for you. Let me repeat. If you cannot control alcohol consumption, if you cannot do 1 or 2 shots a day and leave the bottle alone, then this is not for you. Because if you don't have that kind of constitution, and this includes natives, this includes Asians, this includes people from the Middle East. Those of you who are lacking the gene, those of you who have a predisposition to become alcoholic, those of you who already have debilitating diseases that this could compromise, your group specifically should avoid this. Now the rest, and again, if you are Asian and you can handle 1 shot, not the end of the world. Go knock yourself out. The ones I've met couldn't do it. So anyhow, you are going to take alcohol, vodka, spiritus. I just met a friend of mine who's Polish. Those Polish know how to make alcohol. This is stuff that you can run a car on, 200 proof. Now, for those of you in America, the land of the slave ruled by the depraved, go get some Everclear. Go get that corn alcohol, 190 proof. Now with that one, what you want to do is mix it with either an essential oil, say pine, balsam fir, spruce, cedar leaf, anything like that, peppermint, thyme, savory, oregano, marjoram. Mix it with a little alcohol and rub it on the skin. Rub it on the skin. Rub it up, dub. Rub it on the skin. The alcohol will carry that essential oil through the skin, and you'll be able to absorb it even better than if you take it orally. And that can help, again, boost your immune system, and if there is any biofilm in the system, it can help take it out. Now, I gave you the biofilm buster, where you take a shot of alcohol, brandy, cognac, rum, vodka, or again, spiritus, or the Everclear, or something like, or grappa. I forgot about grappa. How could I forget about grappa? I'm not talking the 200 proof stuff now, okay? So I mean, you can use it. You can use the 80 proof or the 100 proof, but the stuff I'm talking here is this is alcohol and steroids. This will peel the paint off your backside. There's no that's you can guarantee that. But you can take 1 or 2 drops of an essential oil, put it, even if you take a ½ an ounce and drink it down, it'll shotgun those essential oils into the body like lightning. Now, I'm going to show you how to modify that just a wee bit. So you got a super duper immune trooper. Take your spiritus, your vodka, your rum, your brandy, your cognac, whatever you got. Put a shot of the weaker stuff. The stronger stuff, go about half. Add your 2 drops of whatever essential oil you want to use. You want to use cinnamon, you want to use clove, that's fine. You want to use thyme, you want to use savory, you want to use rosemary, peppermint, that's all fine. You want to use eucalyptus and camphor, all good. And then take with it copper chloride, 1 or 2 drops, or you can put even 20 drops. Add a little zinc chloride with it, swirl it around, and down the hatch. This is a win-win. Now you're hitting your body with several different angles to knock out biofilm, bacterial overload, fungi, mold, algae, viruses. and do that before going to bed even. It'll open you up, you'll get circulation going down to the feet, and you'll sleep a lot better. That's a variation, and you can do other variations with that. But I'm showing you here, you can even, for instance, let's say you got a shot of brandy or cognac or even grappa or Everclear or the high-end spiritus. And let's say you got a remedy, let's say you got some sarsaparilla. Sarsaparilla is a saponin. Let's say you got some jaglin herb. It too is a saponin. So let's say you take 1 dropper of each and put it in that brandy, swirl it around, and then or any of the aforementioned alcohol, and drink that down. Again, we have now shotgunned that stuff through the system. Okay, these are suggestions that you can apply. Let's say you're gonna have some ice cream. Somebody say, well, you eat ice cream? Once in a blue moon, I'll have an ice cream. I'll have a Haagen-Dazs. I'll have a vanilla Haagen-Dazs, or I'll have a green tea Haagen-Dazs, or I'll have a, usually vanilla is what I normally eat. That's the one I normally go with. So, okay, I got me some vanilla Haagen-Dazs. So what I do, I'll take some brandy, and I'll take an ounce, I'll pour it all over my ice cream. But before I do that, I'll take, for instance, the essential oil of orange, or the essential oil of tangerine, and I'll put the almond extract. The almond extract has a little bit of cyanide to it. So when you mix the orange and the almond, you have this very powerful almond tasting ice cream. So when you put that on, you spread it all over, and if you want to take it and then put, like I said, put that in your brandy and then spread it all over. Now you're eating something that is going to carry that as well into the system. The sugar will drive the alcohol even harder and faster. So now you got a delightful medicine that you can consume that now will help boost your immune system. Isn't that awesome? Woo-hoo-hoo. Now let's go back to the brandy. Okay, so let's say you got some grapefruit seed extract. Might want to put 2 or 3 drops of that in the brandy. Let's say you got some iodine. You might want to put 2 or 3 drops of that in the iodine, swirl it around, drink it. That's another suggestion. Imagine that, eh? These will boost your immune system. So even a cold, even if a cold should hit you, your recovery time will increase exponentially. Now let's take a little fat, shall we? A little fat is where it's at. So let's take some fat and let's liposome some of the things we just did. Okay, put a little salt there, that's sodium chloride. Add a little potassium chloride to it. Add a little magnesium chloride to it. Whipped it up in some cream. Add your almond extract. Add maybe some, well, you can add whatever you want then at that point. You can add almond, you can add cinnamon. You can add, if you like the more hotter herbs, you can add savory, you can add thyme, you can add oregano. Whip it up. Mix it together really good. You know. Then once you get done, take a teaspoon of this. You can make these things in advance. Let's say you make a 3 or 4 ounce container of oil. That's fat. Olive oil, almond oil, sesame seed oil, sunflower oil, grapeseed oil, macadamia nut oil, avocado oil. You know, these are the oils you want to use. The 6s, not any 3s. So let's say you want to put a little rosemary in there, a little sage. Let's say you got a little BHG, throw it in there. Okay, say you want to add, oh, I don't know, maybe you want to keep it all in the peppermint paste. So you might want to add a little savory and oregano and marjoram. Mix them all together. Put 10 drops of each of these oils in there. Blend it up. Blend it up till the oil gets warm. This way it'll fuse and the oils will transfer. When it gets done, bottle it in a glass bottle. Then every so often, take a teaspoon of this. See, you got options to boost the immune system. Let's say you're making a little ghee, right? You're heating up your butter, and now you're taking the cream out, and you decide, you know what, I want to put something in here. So let's say you put a little turmeric in there, put a little black pepper. Decide you want to put maybe, oh, I don't know, a little ginger in there. Whether it be ginger powder, or you want to put essential oil of pepper, turmeric, ginger. You know, something along those lines. Whip it up, add a little salt to it, add some of the chlorides to it. You know, mix it up really well. Let it refrigerate it. Every so often, take a spoon of that. We have many, many ways of doing things, you know, to keep the immune system boosted. But even after saying this, you can still get sick. And just because you get sick, you have a problem, doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means that your body needs time to recover. doesn't mean that you got the corona bona. Corona bona. The fake pandemic. Keep track of your DNA, keep track of your genetic code, keep track of your mitochondria. Okay. If you're feeling a little woozy and you're feeling like you got hit with something, you're feeling like you're disorientated, good chance you might have gotten hit with a terahertz 6G frequency, a terahertz digitized frequency, and you might have gotten hit. We may be getting hit all the time and not have realized it up until this point. They've been using this technology all the time. The problem is because we're so distracted with the current trend in the awareness factor, and nobody's taking the leap and going further ahead. Everyone's just following everybody in a swarm. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. So as everybody expounds and expands themselves and starts looking at things, initially you're going to be unsure of yourself because you're so used to this gestalt thinking, this corporate thinking, this thinking of being in a group consciousness, team player bullshit, that thinking. And once you start again evolving and understanding what you're reading and becoming more aware, you start putting the dots together, you'll start to see how far down the rabbit hole we really are. How far down we are in this quagmire. And what's really required to get on top again. As I stated before, we will only survive this as a collective, in the sense of not being a collective for the mainstream, but being a collective like... Americans don't like hearing the word communism, so I have to use the word community with them because they hear the word communism, they get all reactive. Russian, kill the Russians, that kind of stupid, because they've been brainwashed. The Russians are not a problem either. They're just a symptom of the global problem we have today. They have their own issues. They're dealing with the same shit we're dealing with over here. They're dealing with the same idiosyncrasies that we have over here. They just are doing it differently. They are on the verge of extinction. They're going from 140 million down to 110 million. They are in deep shit, period. So, when we're talking today in regarding to what's going on, and once you take steps to see the reality of what's happening, you're going to begin to realize the envelope that we're in or how we've been enveloped in this matrix, in this deception, and this manipulation. It's going to spin your head, literally. Now, this is something I always hear. What are we going to do? What can we do about it? The only reason the people that are in power is because they made money God, and they got most of it, so they got most of their God. And second is because we have tolerated them and given them their power. That's what's happened. That is what's happened. And as long as you stayed subdued and subjected to their hypnosis, they'll continue to keep on being in power. Anything, anytime, they can take away from you your axis of choice. You lose your power. Anytime they can manipulate you with these phony fake pandemics, you lose your power, because this is what happens. You freak out, you run, you're scared, and then you run to these people. These are the very people that caused the problem. This is something that, again, is mind-boggling to me. They caused the bullshit, they caused the problem, and then you run to them for the answers. I mean, are you seriously kidding me? They are just laughing the whole way. They're looking at these people saying these people are F-tards. We beat them up, we abuse them, we steal from them, we take things from them, we harvest their young, we get adrenochrome out of their children, we drink the blood of their children, we rape their children, and they still keep coming back to us. Why would they stop? Why should they stop? You're basically giving them carte blanche to do this. Some of you go, oh man, that was really gross. That's what's going on. There's a whole thing about the pedophile thing going on. You don't hear too much about that anymore. You're hearing the odd arrests going on. And you're hearing about like Tom Hanks and some of the other people that got caught up in the child pedophile thing. They're not coming. Tom Hanks is not coming home because they're going to arrest him for it. So now he's proclaiming he's got the coronavirus. I got coronavirus. I have to quarantine myself. I can't come back. You know what gets me on that one? What gets me on that one? In the past, there have been men and women who have come up with remedies to heal the body. There was a guy in Canada that had 714X, came out with a cure for cancer. And they came across the border and they took him out. There was another guy in the United States that had a blood purifying agent back in the 50s. Doesn't work as well today, but it worked really well then. That was curing the cancers, and they went after him. He had a chain of health food stores in the United States, and they went after him. He left the country, went down to South America. They came down there without any jurisdiction, went and grabbed him, brought him back so he could stand before trial. A legal seizure. This has been, like I said, there's been stuff like this been going on for quite some time. Nothing new. Nothing new. So it's business as usual. It's business as usual. That's because everybody is still surrendering their power. I mean, it's like you're getting your backsides ripped in half. They're beating the hell out of you, and you still keep going, oh, can you help us? And we know you just beat the hell out of us, but can you please help us? I mean, doesn't that sound ridiculous? But this is what's going on. And the people that are caught up in the matrix, part of it is because they don't see, some of them don't legitimately see what's really happening. Some are seeing what's happening, but they don't care. They'd rather continue in the comforts of life than to be uncomfortable or to be alone. Knowing the truth will isolate you, for sure. There's no question about that. But on the same token, when you are seeking the truth, you'll find, sooner or later, you'll find people who are like-minded, like yourself, and you'll connect on a real level than you did otherwise. In the Matrix, the only connections you have is strictly superficial. Unless you're basically having sex with somebody's wife and making some kind of business exchange, everything is superficial. And again, I'm not saying that to be, funny or anything. That's the way it is. That's life. That's how things work. You make a deal. Oh, okay, let's swap wives, and then we'll cement the deal. That's how things are done. That's how crazy things are in this world. And these are things that you wouldn't think about, but this is what goes on. Children being harvested. I mean, are you kidding me? Think about this. Hitler was charged with, the gas chambering the POWs in Germany. Okay, the prisoners of war. He was abusing the prisoners, and he was killing the prisoners of war, experimenting on them, all these things that you hear the stories. And theoretically, I don't think he ever died. I think he wound up living the rest of his life in South America. I think they gave him the venue out when they had the paperclip thing. I think he went out the door too. But all those generals that they caught, all those people that were subservients of Hitler, they all had to pay the price for their heinous crimes, and some of them were executed. Yet today, politicians were involved in this. I was reading an article about Hillary Clinton and her aide and what they did to this one young woman. It's too horrific to even talk about. Are allowed to walk among us. How is that? See, when you see things like that, and if you can't picture in your mind that we're living in a demonically possessed planet, and this kind of thing is going on because of who rules this earth or who controls it, then it's time, like I said, to give your head a shake and pay attention. I talk to people. I got women send me things like this all the time, and they're aghast, they're appalled by what they see. some of them are mothers and grandmothers, and they say, well, you know, they should just execute this person. This is coming from them. And I agree. I do agree. This is the realm we're living in. You're not eating organics. That's a lie. You're being loaded with glyphosates. Being loaded with now you might be loaded with graphene, who knows? Carbon C60, because they're putting it in the fertilizer. They're spraying nano silver in the field. They're spraying nano silica in the field. Let me reiterate this, because I sometimes think I must be speaking in Greek or Swahili or French or something. I'm hearing English, but everybody else is hearing some other language. Let me emphasize this really loud and clear. Nothing in a metal level, nothing on a nano level that's metallic. Nothing. Gold, silver, iodine, copper, zinc, magnesium, calcium, manganese, and any boron or borax. Any metal that's on a nanoscale does not work with our physiology, causes irreparable damage to the DNA and the genetic code, and can integrate with your DNA. And majority of the time, when we have these nanoparticles inside of our bodies, these nanometals, and they get lodged in the brain, a lot of times when that happens, this is where you get your autism, this is where you get your Alzheimer's, this is where you get your Parkinson's, this is where you get a lot of your mental disorders that are going on, because you are now having clusters of metal in the brain, associating themselves with different parts of the brain, building networks in those regions, and then connecting throughout the brain. Go read augmentinforce.com. There's a link there called Nanotoxicology, where it talks about the different nanometals, including silica and silver. And you can see where they embed. Silver embeds in the spine, in the liver, in the spleen, and in the brain. Silica embeds itself in the proteins of the body, as well as in the brain and other organs. You cannot digest silica on any level. Zero. And when it's on a nanoscale, if it connects with a virus like tuberculosis or pneumonia, guess what? It can amplify the infection. Imagine that. Nanosilica can amplify an infection. Wow. What happens when it confronts a simple little virus like a coronavirus, which only can cause a cold? It can amplify that. Wow. And it can take a signal. It's a frequency conductor. Ooh, we got a frequency conductor and an amplifier of viruses. Woo-hoo-hoo. Are you connecting the dots? Are you seeing the equation? Are you paying attention? Is anybody home? The lights are on. Are you awake? Take a look. Take a hard look. You might just be surprised. You just might. Some of this stuff is hard to take, and I get that. But everybody who I've talked to who initially couldn't handle it, when they went back and looked at it the second time, they write to me and said they actually thanked me for informing them of what's going on. And then once they start reading it and digesting what they're reading, they get shocked. They're in a state of shock. And then they start digging and digging and digging, and all of a sudden now they get active, because they're beginning to see their full realization of how impending a lot of things are going on right now, especially with the nano infections that are happening. Nano infections. Notice that? Nano infections. Medical field is lying to you as well. They don't tell you the truth. They will never tell you the truth. They will always, always lie to you. Or you ever notice, you go to a doctor, just to prove my point. You go to a doctor and you start asking questions. All of a sudden they get really gruffy with you because you're asking them questions. And they don't want to talk to you. They think you're beneath them. You came to see them. They're not obligated to answer anything. And they don't want to give you anything because you're not going to pay them. Doctors are like whores. Doctors are like whores. If you pay, they'll play. If you don't pay, they don't want to play. That's the way they are. So when you go to see a doctor, most of the doctors that people tell me, when they ask him questions, the doctor gets all gruffy with him and then snarls at him. Do you think you know more than I do? And I'm a medical guy, and who are you? And blah, blah, blah. That's all ego. That's all ego. That's all that is. Basically, when the doctor says that, it's because he doesn't know anything, and you do know more than he does, especially when or she does. I'm not going to discriminate there, he or she, because you're presenting a question or presenting a statement to them that they don't want to, either they don't know or don't want to answer, or they might have a gag order. So now they get all grumpy. Oh, I'm the expert here. I'm the professional. I'm this. I'm that. Oh yeah, I'm the great one. Now you came to see me, and you shut up and do what I say. And I say, get a vaccine. Get a coronavirus vaccine. Matter of fact, take 2. Oh my, how far we've fallen. God almighty. How far we've fallen. It's incredible. It really is. It's mind-boggling, mind-staggering, really, when you sit there and understand the whole this jest. And don't think for 1 minute that your pensions, your disability checks, your welfare checks, your social checks, whatever you're getting, whatever they're calling them, unemployment checks, or employment insurance checks. We got politically correct in Canada. We don't call it unemployment insurance anymore. We call it employment insurance. What a load of bullshit, all of it. Anyway, your funds are on the brink. Remember what happened to Greece? Or did you forget that too? How they collapsed the banking system in Greece and how the Greek banks took over everybody's finances. Remember that? CDIC in Canada, the FDIC in the States could not pay off the money that's in the banks right now if there was a run. Remember that. Remember that. And if there is a run, they'll shut the banks down and they'll take over your money and make it their money. So don't think for 1 minute in this global reset that money you might have in the bank may in fact be subjected to being confiscated. That is a possibility. That would get me a little concerned, not the coronavirus. Coronavirus is the distraction. That is the distraction. That's what it is. Nothing more but a distraction. So when you start thinking about terms of your prosperity, your wealth, and everything that you've ever worked for could be lost in this next little while through the shuffling that they're doing. Okay? This is why you want to pay attention. You want to seriously pay attention to what's going on. Not the insanity that they're... See, when I'm playing poker, I don't play poker, but when I did when I was younger, basically you never showed anybody your cards. And all you did was smile. You smiled, and you made out like you got the hand of a lifetime. You got a full house, a straight, whatever, royal flush. You smiled like you got the cards of cards. Meanwhile, all you got's a pair of 2s. So, what do? You put on that face, that front, to let everybody know, man, you got the hand of the century, so you can bluff people out of their money. That's what happens in poker. So people throw away their cards. Some guys have 3 of a kind, they throw them in. Some people have a pair, they throw them in. And so when the guy says, all right, let's see what you got, he says, oh, you got a pair of 2s. Yeah, thank you very much, I got your money. That's the game. Poker. And they want to see who's going to blink first. You or them. They're counting on you. Disappoint them. Seriously, disappoint them. Alrighty, I think I ran it long enough here. I'm going to, again, point out, you got a couple people up here, Brian396, and you got Aramac. You got links up on their on the site here, on the channel. Go check them out. You got my site as well. If you want to help these guys any way you can, if you want to help anybody on this page, help them out. Support them any way you can. Give what you can. If you don't have anything, You're broke. Your job has been shut down. The coronavirus has shut down. You work in restaurants. You work at a Tim Hortons. You work at a McDonald's. And now all you can do is serve people and out the door or drive through or whatever. When you think about that for a second, okay, if you work in those kind of jobs and that has happened, don't worry about giving money. Just share the information. Share it, share it, share it. But think about this one specific thing I'm going to point out here. Just sort of kind of wigged on this a little bit. Imagine right now you have a restaurant and you got about 100 people working there. Now you have a pandemic. So now they can only get their food if they go through, either they walk through the door, order the food, pick it up and walk out, or they walk through a drive-through. In other words, they drive through, get their stuff and get out. That would eliminate a vast majority of people working in those jobs. Wouldn't it? And if those people are now no longer working, what happens to them? Good question. So what if they might be taking this time to transition industries and jobs to reduce the workload or workforce in these places by replacing them either with machines, because now you can have a robot do work in a Tim Hortons. Make the donuts, make this, make that, prep this, prep that. Imagine how many people you would lay off. Imagine McDonald's having robots inside producing the hamburgers. They probably cook better than the people that are cooking there anyway. But you get the point? This could be the back door to introduce this new wave of technology to replace people in their jobs. Just a concept. Doesn't mean it's what it is. It's basically a speculation on my part, a hypothesis. Nothing more. I have nothing to substantiate that. I have nothing to validate that. I'm just basically expressing an opinion, just so you understand. I don't want to alarm you anymore, but I want you to get the perspective and perceptions that you need to see that these things could happen. Look at every event that occurred since 1999. Been over 20 events. What happened after each event? Go take a look. We'll take a stroll down memory lane. You might be surprised when you start examining what happened after the pandemonium, the frantic hysteria that was going on. What happened afterwards? It looked like it went back to status quo, business as usual, but there were changes that had occurred. Jobs were lost, people were displaced, people got poor. Some of the things to look at. Alrighty, listen, thanks for listening to the show. We will see you in the next couple of days. Till then, stay healthy, to your health. Don't be scared or moved by bullshit. Validate, substantiate. That's what I always say. And don't just listen to the mob fake news that's being advocated on all the networks. That's the fake news. Pay attention to the reality and the facts. All right, till the next show, to your health. Take care.